You know, since 2020, so much of our world has shifted online. But in that shift, we lost something huge, something really fundamental to how we connect with each other: eye contact. So today, we're going to dive into the quest to get it back.
I mean, we've all felt this, right? You're on a really important video call, maybe it's with your doctor or your boss or even just family, and there's just this weird, invisible wall. Something feels off. You're talking to someone, but you don't really feel like you're with them. So what on earth is going on here?
Well, here's the good news. You can breathe a little easier. It's not you. It's not your fault. That feeling of disconnect, that weirdness of talking to a little green light instead of a person, it's a flaw that's literally baked into the technology we now rely on every single day. So to really get a handle on this, we need to pull back the curtain and look at what some people are calling the awkward digital gaze. This is the hidden problem that just plagues almost all of our virtual interactions.
And this observation comes from someone who, let's be honest, knows a thing or two about eyes, Professor Graham Barrett. He's a world-renowned ophthalmologist, and this guy has spent his entire career inventing super precise optical devices for surgery. So when the whole world went virtual, he spotted it immediately. He felt that disconnect, and it started him on a journey to find a real solution.
And this right here gets us to the absolute heart of the problem. It's called the video consultation paradox. And I want you to think about this for a second, because you do this on every single call. You have this impossible choice to make. You can either stare at that tiny camera lens to pretend you're making eye contact, or you can look at your screen to actually, see the person you're talking to. The catch? You can't do both, not at the same time.
And this breaks down that no-win situation perfectly, right? Look at the camera. And yeah, the other person feels like you're engaged. But you miss everything. You can't see their face, their reactions, those little nonverbal cues. But if you look at the screen to actually see them, then to them you just look distracted or like you're reading your email. This constant back and forth has a name: Ocular Gymnastics, and it is a one-way ticket to Zoom fatigue.
But look, this is about so much more than just feeling a little awkward. Losing genuine eye contact has real, measurable effects. So let's actually dig into the science of why this connection is so incredibly important.
23%. What's that? Well, studies show that's how much more information people remember when a presenter on a screen is actually making eye contact with them. I mean, think about that for a second. That's the difference between a message that actually sticks and one that just vanishes the moment you click Leave Meeting.
And if you look at the world of telehealth, the numbers get even more dramatic. A staggering 89% of patients say they prefer it when their doctor is looking at the camera. And this isn't just some casual preference. It's a deep-seated need for connection, especially when you're feeling vulnerable.
And that's because a direct gaze does some pretty amazing things to our brains. It makes us perceive the other person as more empathetic. On a neurological level, it literally triggers the release of oxytocin. That's the bonding hormone. It's what builds trust and reinforces connection. In a field like, say, mental health, where that therapeutic relationship is everything, losing that connection is just not an option.
So it's this exact frustration that led an expert in the human eye to try and solve a technology problem. And this wasn't just about spotting a business opportunity for Professor Barrett. No, this was personal. It was a quest.
I mean, really, who better to fix a problem with eye contact than an actual eye surgeon? Professor Barrett has dedicated his life to understanding the physics and the biology of how we see. He wasn't just some tech guy looking for an angle. He was uniquely, perfectly qualified to see this problem in a completely different light.
So you can see how the whole thing played out. For years, he was creating these amazing surgical tools. Then 2020 hits, and that's when he has his light bulb moment about the disconnect. That sent him straight to his workshop, tinkering, building prototypes, and that eventually led him to found a whole company, Lumirah, just to bring this invention to the world.
So after all that work, all that frustration, what was the solution? Let's take a look inside the device that was born from this whole quest, the IV.
Okay, first, it is so important to understand what the IV is not. This isn't some clever software that digitally warps your eyes into some creepy deep fake gaze. It's not a trick. It is a fundamental hardware solution that goes back to the basics, to the pure science of optics, to deliver real, actual, natural eye contact.
And the genius of it is really in its simplicity. You just look at the other person's face right on your screen, like you normally would, but behind that screen, there's a special piece of optical glass. You can think of it like a really, really smart one-way mirror. It allows a hidden high-def camera to see your eyes perfectly. So you see them, the camera sees you looking at them, and just like that, the paradox is solved.
And this isn't just some wild idea or a prototype. The core technology here is so unique and so innovative that it's been granted multiple U.S. patents. This is a serious piece of engineering that was designed from the ground up to solve a very specific and very human problem.
So, you might be wondering, how does this stack up? Well, you've got the AI software solutions, which can just feel artificial and weird. Then you've got your standard webcam, which gives you nothing but that awkward gaze problem. The Ivy, though, it's really in a class of its own. It's a true optical solution that also happens to have professional-grade audio and video built in. It's the whole package for authentic communication.
Okay, so what does this all actually mean in the real world? Well, it means we can finally start to restore a really important piece of our humanity to the digital world. It actually creates what you could call a three-way win for everybody involved.
For patients, it's huge. It means they can finally feel truly seen, heard, and understood. For doctors and clinicians, it means way less fatigue and the ability to notice those tiny but crucial nonverbal signals. And for the health systems as a whole, it just means a higher quality of care, which ultimately leads to better outcomes for all of us.
Which kind of leaves us with one last big question to think about. We're always talking about how technology can disconnect us, right? But what if the right kind of technology, designed with real human experience at its heart, could actually start to fix the very connections it broke? What if it could actually bring us closer together, even when we're miles apart?